Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very, very much for tuning in. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you. To my super chat, I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding. Some people don't know what that means, but it's obviously referring to a certain group of individuals in media who want to take money out of politics and who fancy themselves these strong progressives who then take $20 million in venture capital funding. So that's a reference to those pure-hearted and wonderful people. Ladies and gentlemen, you can go to Trafalgar. So Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, hello. The Trafalgar Group and Rasmussen will once again be the most accurate polls. Polls generally are public relations tactics. Polls try to influence perception. They try to fabricate, oftentimes, public sentiment. There's a Medicare for All poll, for example. That this is different. This isn't what the Democratic Party does. But there's a poll because the Democrats don't want Medicare for All. They don't want to abolish ICE. They don't want to abolish the Electoral College. They don't want to defund police. They don't want a Green New Deal legislation. They don't want to ban fracking. They don't want anything that they claimed. They don't want to defund law enforcement. They don't want anything they claim to want. They're just deceitful liars most of the time when it comes to policies. But a Medicare for All poll, for example, says, "Oh, yeah, it's very popular." But then when people hear that their taxes have to go up, simply the rebuttal that, well, you won't have to pay premiums, that's not enough. Not everyone pays the same premiums, and not everyone pays taxes, federal income taxes. And there's a lot of other issues. You're not assured of the same quality of health care. You're also not assured it would save money. Everything would have to work out for it to save money in 10 years or so. But the point is, it's a noble policy objective. It's something that Democrats will never. Hillary Clinton has a better chance of becoming nominee a year into Trump's second term, than Democrats implementing a Medicare for All bill. They'll never do that. They will never do that. They will never do that. Even Andrew Gillum in Florida said, well, there have to be bordering states states around Florida that implement it as well. We can't implement it in Florida. So, but anyway, my point is, you looked at the lead up during the Bush administration to never-ending quagmires, never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. It was all, American, the people think this, the people think that. Well, the only poll that should count is November 3rd. That's the only poll, and midterms, and whether there's a recall for a governor. When you vote, that's the only poll that should count. But Minnesota presidential poll, Trafalgar Group, they're tied. It's Botox B, the exhumed body, 46.9%, and Trump 46.5%. And then you have Joe Jurgensen. I have no clue. Why would you be voting libertarian? And this is why I say this. People vote Green Party because, a Green New Deal, that's not a Democratic Party policy. It doesn't matter if AOC helped write the bill. That's a Green Party policy. AOC helped write the bill, the resolution, because it was a public relations stunt. That's why it was a resolution and not a bill. Why do you think when they talk about reparations, they say, well, we're going to study it. The Democrats are all public relations. Well, you don't have an idea based on U.S. history. You've never taken a U.S. history course, whether you think it would work nowadays or not. So Democrats, they always try to buy time and try to engage in pure PR, public relations, marketing stunts. Oh, we're going to study this. This is a resolution. We're pushing the debate. We're open to perhaps one day, well, you know, where you're not going to get Medicare for all if you don't have the Senate and the House and the presidency. So I guess you got to vote Democrat. Then when you vote Democrat, well, it ain't never going to happen. And then Democratic voters don't want to vote. I can go on forever. But here in Minnesota, presidential poll, Trafalgar, this is the latest one they have. 46.9 to 46.5. They're tied. They're tied. And Nevada is in play too. Trump is only down by 2 points in Nevada. So, and he was down. He was down by 2 points in Minnesota, and now, according to Trafalgar, he's cut the lead to basically it's now tied, if I'm reading this correctly. And so, in Minnesota, early voting, according to TargetSmart, and I don't know how accurate TargetSmart is, but according to TargetSmart, it's 38.5% Republican, 42.4% Democrat, and 19.1% unaffiliated. Gee, who do you think the hidden Trump voter is? The person who's unaffiliated and doesn't answer the phone when ABC News calls? Why would you answer a phone call from ABC News or CNN? You know they don't like Trump already. So, President Trump is on his way to a decisive victory. Falvey Pollard! I have a clip of Cenk Uygur brace for impact on loop election. Exactly. They're going to have to brace for impact again. They're going to have to brace for impact again. Exactly. And then, their whole thing is, well, we're going to come back. When you are going into an election planning, on suddenly getting votes after the election on November 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, because the polls show Biden up, are you kidding me? And I'm still holding on to my what I've been thinking for the past numerous years, 4 years. President Trump's going 8 years. I've been saying that for the past 4 years. Very few people have. Falvey Pollard, thank you. They can't possibly be going with this man. He's the most horrendous candidate of all time. But they're expecting to come back. They also are underestimating the early vote for Trump. They're underestimating the early vote for Trump. So I don't get. I voted yesterday. Please share my my segment on how on how great it felt to vote for President Trump. And here's the segment. Please go ahead and share that everywhere. Here's the segment. Scott Bullion cannot type. Exactly. That's good. Just call him Caligula. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Isn't it, Scott? Thank you so very much. Isn't it unbelievable how they're still going to lose and they've pulled out all the stops? All the stops. They've simply pulled out all the stops, Scott, and it still won't work. And now if you don't have Ohio and Florida, they're not going to come back in Ohio and Florida. That I'm not even remotely worried about. Okay? They're trying to come back somehow in North Carolina. But it's interesting. You're going to have less African American and Latino support. So I want to know where all these votes are coming from. So Democrats will have less support. Less support. You have two Democratic senators, okay, Tillis and Burr in North Carolina. Southern state, red state, generally red state, went to President Obama because President Obama was a transformational for a moment. I'm not a fan of President Obama's presidency. Just ask the people of Libya. But what he was able to accomplish was paradigm changing. He was the first African American president. So what he was able to do was groundbreaking. Or first black president. Was groundbreaking. Democrats are not going to see that voter turnout in a long time until they get like a similar candidate that's groundbreaking, or is that he was also an amazing campaigner. Okay, Bill Clinton, very good campaigner. President Trump, excellent campaigner. Clinton, horrendous campaigner, and Biden doesn't even campaign, so the man doesn't even campaign, so I don't know. Is he a good campaigner? I don't know. He doesn't campaign. When he does, there's 4 people. When he does, there's like 4 people there, and I don't know. So they're definitely going to try to They're definitely going to try to cheat. Paul, thank you. I just don't know if it's going to even be close enough for them to cheat. Because they do not have the overwhelming numbers in terms of mail-in ballots. They don't have the overwhelming numbers. The disparity between Republican and Democrat, there's a lot of people voting, but there's also a lot of Republicans voting. So, Scott, thank you. It's unbelievable. JD Car Guy, tell us your electoral and popular vote predictions. HA, the effing man. Thank you so very much, JD Car Guy. Thank you. I don't have any. For once, I'm at a loss for words because I have to be honest. I know that President Trump's going to win. I think it's going to be decisive. I think he'll win Minnesota. Minnesota could be very close. I think that he'll win Michigan, and I think that he'll win Wisconsin. He'll win Ohio and Florida. So I think it's going to be decisive overall. Could be close in Minnesota. But, I mean, I think that when all is said and done, they're going to have an uphill battle convincing everyone that Democrats just happened to get 400,000 votes mail-in. That just happened to... There would have to be a 70-30 split for mail-in ballots for them to actually rebound in all of these states. And there's currently not a 70-30 split or a 60-40 split in most of these states. You know, Pennsylvania, there's Democrats are doing very well. But North Carolina, Democrats are not. They're barely above. North Carolina, Michigan, they're barely above Republicans in terms of mail-in ballots. And Election Day is going to see, you're going to see, the last thing Democrats want, the 2 things that Democrats are allergic to are the plague, which everyone is, and Republicans or Trump supporters. They're not going to want to, wait in line with a bunch of Trump supporters who breathe out, the typhoid Mary Trump supporters that they don't want to be near. They're not going to show up to the polls because it's Biden, number one, or I'm still waiting for Clinton, but because I can't believe they would tank the election. There's no way this man is going to become president because he's not. This is the thing. He's not campaigning. When he opens his mouth, he basically proves to the world that he's lacking cognitive ability. He's never accomplished anything, and watching paint dry is both more amusing. Paint watches Biden dry, and watching paint dry will do more for your soul or for your spirit or for your life than Biden has in 47 years. But that being said, okay, aside from that, okay, the man's not going to win because it's not like people said, well, Trump isn't going to win because they just think he's like a circus character, because Democrats believe that they've been ordained by God to control the future of this country. When you look at why people voted for Trump, they voted for Trump because they wanted a great economy, because they wanted to reverse U.S. foreign policy, because they wanted they wanted to change. They couldn't stand the business as usual. Okay, why would you vote for Biden? Oh, the only reason is because you don't like Trump. That's not enough of a reason. That is not enough of a reason. They didn't get the Senate during midterms. So I took heat because of the House, but I said that Democrats would increase their lead in the Senate. They did. They did, and that proved to be the most consequential, the most important victory in 2018, because now you have Amy Coney Barrett. And Amy Coney Barrett hopefully will be more conservative than Roberts. So it's like really a 5-4, not a 6-3, but let's say it's 6-3, technically. JD Car Guy, thank you. I mean, I think it's going to be decisive. I don't know. It could be very similar to the electoral count of last election. Big Daddy PD. Big Daddy PD. Big Daddy PD. Thank you, Big Daddy PD. God bless law enforcement. Big Daddy PD, God bless you. But I just don't Michael Hendrickson. I live in Duluth, Minnesota. Trump can win in Minnesota, but it all depends on the folks who live in the suburbs. In St. Paul and Minneapolis, rural Minnesota is all Trump. That's right. He won, Michael, I believe he won most of the counties. Let's go look at, President Trump won 78 of Minnesota's 87 counties. And also, often by sizable percentages. It says here. NPR News. So, and Minneapolis asked for $500 million because of very peaceful endeavors. So, he won by overwhelming margins. And you know who really did him in? It was Gary Johnson. So it's interesting, too. Democrats have decimated the Green Party. Republicans don't even care about the Libertarian Party. That's the difference. Like, Republicans are like, we're not going to blame other countries, and we're not going to, you want to be Libertarian, whatever. It's not going to affect us either way. We'll win. Democrats are like, Russia, the Green Party's Russia, Joel Stein, Russia. Russia doesn't care about the Democrats. They don't care. Michael, I agree with you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. And I mean, she only won by 40,000 votes, and she outspent Trump 2-1 in Minnesota. I think Minnesota, like Nevada, all of these. If it's close, Biden has no momentum, and the mail-in. But you're going to see Democrats completely freak out when mail-in ballots trickle in after the election and Trump increases his lead. They'll be like, oh my God, the polls. I'm like, well, the polls weren't accurate. The polls regarding sentiment were accurate, but polls regarding who you're going to vote for. Hi-Fi Trucker. Tim Pool made a great point as to why Dems put up Biden as their candidate. He thinks the Dems know they can't win, so send Biden as expendable, and they have a major amount of money for 2024. It could be the case. Hi-Fi Trucker. I love Tim Pool. Watch him every day. It could be the case. I mean, Hi-Fi Trucker, I don't understand why they would. But see, the thing is, Hi-Fi Trucker, then you have Durham. You know, they're tanking deliberately, and the consequences aren't going to be fun. So Michael Hendrickson, J.D. Carr guy, Scott Bullion, Hi-Fi Trucker, everybody here, Falvey, Big Daddy PD. I don't know why they would deliberately tank. Boobala! Defund. I like NPR. Just because, you know why? Just because they quoted me. Mainly because they quoted me. Fun Day Shake Goodman. Boobala! Counting Boobala. Rob going. Rob. HA, what's with Pelosi saying stuff like Biden will win whatever the end count is on Tuesday? She daft deranged or maybe a little bit sinister. Thanks for the great analysis and commentary. Rob, thank you so very much, Rob. Thank you for your support, generosity. I think that the only thing they can do is express confidence. That's the only that they need to express confidence, despite the fact that they know they're going to lose. They're not going to win with this man. If the Rasmussen polls about black and African American voters are accurate, it's going to be a political slaughter for Democrats. Black men voted for Trump by 14% of black men voted for Trump. If it goes to 20% or let's say 18%, they're done. Democrats are done. Now, if black women 1 or 2 or 3% vote for Trump, because I think it was like less than 1% or about 1% of black women voted for Trump. If it just goes, because the vote was, I think, 88% of black voters voted for Trump. If it's like 84% or 82%, Democrats are done. That's why they focus on media and dividing the country, and everything's racist except when Biden says the most racist things. Like, Biden has objectively said more racist things than Trump ever has. And, you know, looking back, I don't think that Trump shouldn't have said what he stated in 2015 when he first started his campaign. But that's a sentiment, by the way, that Democrats have stated for years and years. And then he clarified his statement. But media, hypes it up, pumps it up. You're talking about people who, if it's a Republican saying something, like Chelsea Handler just made the most, she had the audacity to say that, well, someone has to remind 50 Cent that he's black. How can you, as a white woman, say this? Or just how can you, as any person, say that? But see, liberals get away with it. They get away with everything. It's unbelievable. So they don't live by the rules that they espouse. They don't abide by the code, by the moral code that they espouse. Suddenly you have all these Democrats who care about immigration. They didn't care at all when cages were being used under President Obama. They didn't care at all about the plight and the suffering of the people of Libya. You can look, there are generally two sides to every story. There's not really two sides to the intervention in NATO in Libya. There's really not two sides. You weren't stopping anything. The whole point was to stop chaos. You created more chaos. The rebuttal they have literally is, well, it would have happened anyway. How do you know this? How do you know this? They have no clue. They get away with everything. And Rob, thank you so very, very much. They just have to, Rob. They just have to display this. They have to pretend that they're. Thank you, Xstall1. Thank you. They have to pretend that they're very, very confident. They have to portray this aura of overconfidence. Because this is also part of the narcissism. They think that everyone despises Trump the same way they do. But if you look at the favorability ratings, like if you look at approval ratings or favorability ratings, Ohio and Florida were pretty much Trump country for the past 4 years, from 2017 till today. The people who really despise Trump are in New York and California, Oregon, and Washington. Massachusetts. They're not going to vote blue, but they're the ones when you say, well, the national approval rating. Yeah, the national approval rating, if you remove those states, he's doing all right. Actually, better than all right. John V. Thank you again. Thank you again, Rob. Greatly appreciated. John V. Just around Fox News. Service Democrat. I saw that too. Something very bizarre. Something very bizarre. Something very bizarre. Paul, I saw that. Something very bizarre took place. I don't know what, but I don't care. Something very bizarre. John, thank you so very, very much. Thank you, John. California veteran. Hurry up Tuesday, California for Trump. I wish. I wish. You look at like every state and city run by Democrats is not functioning. It's full of paranoia, crime. It's pretty accurate. Go look, the highest unemployment rates by state, by city. The Democrats preside over the highest unemployment rate, the highest fatality rate in terms of the pandemic, the highest aggregate numbers. Go to the New York Times. You can see it's the fatality rate. When Jonathan Swan was like, a 30% of the population. Well, look at the top 4 states in terms of fatality rate. No wonder the country doesn't do as well in that respect. California veteran, thank you so very much. That's right. I see the pumpkin pie. That's right. Boobala! Chelsea basically said, it's horrible. Count Boobala. Horrible. Thank you, Boobala. Thank you as always. Falvey Pollard. Right now, there are about 44,000 people watching the Trump rally on right side, and he hasn't even arrived yet. That's right. Falvey Pollard. I mean, you know what? Enthusiasm for Trump is, you can actually, there's evidence for it. Polls are not evidence. That's not evidence. You have no idea about you have no way to confirm the accuracy of the polls. You have no way to confirm the accuracy of what James Clapper spouts out through his giant cranium. You have no idea what, if John Brennan is telling his usual lies. When the intelligence community assesses that Trump worked with Russia, that is not evidence. When polls say Biden's up 16 or Clinton was up 17, that's not evidence. Evidence is seeing a packed stadium. Evidence is, you can look. There are live streams where on Biden's channel, it was like 942 people a half an hour in. JG, hello. JG. It was like 942 people, and I generally in the evenings surpass that. DB, hello. Falvi, thank you. Todd Rubel. Bubala just rolls. Bubala just rolls off the tongue. It really does. It really does. And that's also like John Ratcliffe comes out, not Russian disinformation. Giuliani says, yeah, we have the computer repair store information. Then you have Bubala saying, I have the text messages, so the Federal Bureau of Investigation has them. And by the way, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, there have been reports that there's a investigation. I love when you type in Caligula. Democratic congressman tells associate Bubala he'd defend him over... What is that even? Oh, okay. Tony Bubala, who I love the man, but his name I can't because of the algorithm. He donated to Justice Democrat Ro Khanna. I love it. I love it. Which is fantastic. Ro Khanna told in a new message he would defend against claims. That's good. And you know what? God bless Ro Khanna. That's fantastic. It's fantastic. He was grateful, so that's fantastic. God bless Ro Khanna. Fantastic. I just find it amusing that, well, it would make sense because, Tony Bubala was likely a lifelong Democrat or, associated with Democrats, so... And although no evidence has emerged that they are the product of Russian disinformation, many questions remain about the materials, how the materials got into the hands. Who cares? How if it's accurate, it's accurate. U.S. intelligence in contact with intelligence. Giuliani has been in contact with alleged Russian intelligence agents. So you know what? Bill Clinton was in contact with somebody called Putin in 2010, and literally. At the same time, dozens of former intelligence officials have said the story has all the hallmarks of Russian intelligence. Who cares? They're like, well, we don't know how it was obtained. Yeah, you do. It was from a computer repair store. It was from a computer repair shop. Okay, a computer repair. The owner of the computer store, John, has said he said a man he believes was Caligula. It's not a man who he believes the emails are actually his, and he signed the invoice. And this is what they do. Snopes does the same thing. Acknowledge. It's true that I stole your briefcase, but there are questions as to why you left the briefcase outside of your car. Furthermore, a lot of criminal justice experts have said that people who leave their briefcase out of their car actually want to actually donate their briefcase to less fortunate individuals. So therefore, there are questions as to, was there initially some intent to donate your briefcase? when you deliberately left it, because it has all the hallmarks of a deliberate attempt at giving the briefcase to others. It's like, oh my God. They are absolutely, well, they're not really brilliant at it, but the materials offered no evidence that the former vice president played any role in his son's... What are you talking about, no evidence? Tell your father thank you? So now we're supposed to assume, like, if it was the other way around, that would be viewed as evidence. They impeached Trump over an ellipsis. ... And then they filled in what the ellipsis meant. Well, you know, he was strong-arming Zelensky, because, you know, that pause in the discussion. I mean, there's so many things he was trying to convey within that pause. I mean, they are not going to win because their treachery is. They cannot admit when they get caught. This is the second straight election that a degenerate, very disturbed, bizarre individual linked to the Democratic Party had a computer with pictures of his Anthony Weiner and more than that, and incriminating documents, whether it was classified or just, oh, hey, thanks for meeting the sitting vice president. Thank you. Gee, thank you. It's pretty unbelievable. Todd Rubel, thank you. Polls are like counting the number of swings in a golf tournament and not the holes in one. Exactly. I agree with you. And like what they've done, Todd, is that generally conservatives, and I noticed this also when I was on the left my whole life, conservatives are actually more passionate. They're actually a lot more passionate about issues than Democrats, but also about Democratic Party controversies or scandals. For the past 4 years, Democratic strategists have said, look, we're not going to gain new voters. The only way we can possibly survive is to foment this frenzy among Democrats who already will vote Democrats. So how many people in your life who I know a lot of people who weren't really into politics, but suddenly got really into politics because they grew a conscience. And, the good liberals. You know what? I didn't care when President Obama was actually destroying countries and, detaining people. But now I do, and this has to stop. Even though on every issue, even immigration, President Trump has been a lot more compassionate. You want to talk about cruelty? There's a Senate report that I can't even discuss anymore on YouTube. Go read the Senate report. Much worse than what President Trump reversed. Like, he shouldn't. I agree, it was bad what President Trump, like the policy of separation is a bad policy. I don't agree with that policy. He reversed it immediately. He ended it almost immediately after the outcry. Democrats don't tell you that part. Secondly, they don't tell you that President Obama engaged in worse, a lot worse. And nobody knows what happened to those young individuals. So, I mean, it's just the media covers, and media is an extension of the Democratic Party. They're all liberal. They're all going to the same dinner parties eventually. They're not hanging out like if you're writing for the Federalist, or if you're writing for Breitbart, if you're writing for the Daily Caller, that's like those journalists are not going to the same dinner parties, the same functions, the same fundraising functions, the same gallery museum openings, the same. If you're a Washington Post journalist, a New York Times journalist, a Vanity Fair, Rolling Stone, Atlantic journalist, okay, if you are a producer or work at MSNBC or CNN, or you are part of the White House press corps, your status, your social status, your social rank increases the more vitriol and contempt and venom you spew towards Trump. You gain in stature, you gain in status, you gain in popularity, you gain in friends, you gain in opportunities. Why do you think everyone from McCabe to Strzok to all these disgraced intel officials get book deals? Not that easy to get a book deal. They instantly get a book deal. Nobody reads their book, but you know what? Why do you think that you have Donald Trump's niece and Rudy Giuliani's daughter suddenly coming out of the woodwork and saying, "Okay, you know what? Don't vote for Trump. He's a bad person." Because everyone they hang out with, generally, they might not like Trump, but you know what? Everyone they hang out with, everyone their spouses or friends hang out with, are all anti-Trump liberals in New York or D.C. Trump is from New York. Giuliani's from New York. Okay? Even lifelong people I've known who didn't care about politics, or who kind of did, but not, they're all like apoplectic and seething and fuming. And don't debate these people, because like I said, don't even answer the phone on election night. With somebody who, is a Trump, has Trump derangement, don't answer the phone. If they're calling you, they're calling to tape you, and they're going to use, you don't like Aunt Margaret's cooking? You don't like Aunt Josephine's, meatloaf? Okay, I'm going to play this, and then they email the whole family. Just want to let you know what the family Trumper thinks about Aunt Josephine's meatloaf. I just was speaking to him, and I taped the conversation. Yeah. So when he says something about, and this is Aunt Josephine, 102 years old, and look what this Trumper said about her meatloaf. It's true, everyone got salmonella, but still. And don't answer the phone, because they will tape your... They don't answer the phone. You're about to get taped. Don't answer the phone. Don't text message. Lexi, exactly. They will tape you. Any text message that you receive. Buckeye Bear, hello. Any text message, any email, they're liable to, actually pull some disinformation. Oh, did you see what he wrote? That looks photoshopped. What did you? Yeah, it's like, like a serial killer, like with the different cutout, but the different cutout fonts. But on the email, he wrote this. Yeah. It looks like you cut out different fonts and photocopied it and then took a picture and then put it on an email. Yeah, he did that. He doesn't like Aunt Josephine or all her kids and her grandkids. Don't speak to this Trumper. He's a Trumper. Okay? We need to rid our family of Trumpers. And as you can see from his own voice, he doesn't like the meatloaf, and he doesn't like what you got. He doesn't like what cousin Jill bought him for Christmas. Okay? And cousin Jill was laid off of work. I mean, this man, look, he's a Trumper. He has no morals. That's why I taped him. Yeah, sure, I taped him, and it was horrible. And I took his words out of context. Cousin Jill bought him double, triple XL shirt that he uses as a nightgown. But the nerve to use a tuxedo shirt as a nightgown? The nerve. I mean, only a Trump supporter, a depraved, the cruelty. The cruelty, the treachery. It's like, dude, you don't like record low unemployment? You don't like reversing U.S. foreign policy? Oh, that's right, you're a Democrat. That's right. You wanna cheat everybody. Oh, okay. Take him off the Christmas card. Exactly. Exactly. Boobala. Thank you. Falvey, thank you. Todd Rubel, thank you. Christopher, big push a past day or so by Dems to get people to vote. They are worried behind early voting. Exactly. They're behind. You know, Christopher, they're behind in what they've expected. They're behind in what they expected. They expected, Christopher, they expected to, James, hello. He loves his naked tap. James, hello. They expected to be just absolutely, far ahead. And they're not. Christopher, thank you so very much. Great point. They're like, yeah, you should vote early. No, they're not going to risk the plague and being near Trumpers. John, Mark, H.A. Goodman, Boobala, that's right. John, Mark, thank you. Truth Hurts 18. Dems are known as the party of the poor. They gain more voters by making leftist ideologies about making it. Yeah, I mean, they try to... They fancy themselves as... speaking for the downtrodden and helping people and Falvey! Wow, Falvey Pollard Harris just wrapped up a live stream on PBS and she had exactly half the viewers you have now. Oh my God. It's going to be good. You know what? This is payback. Listen, if you haven't voted yet, I voted yesterday. If you have to wait in line, wait in line, bring headphones, bring your Walkman, if you still have one, use your phone, go on YouTube, listen to one of my, 2-hour live streams, listen to music, just wait and enjoy, and your vote counts, believe me. Your vote counts. Think of it as like a spiritual experience because the euphoria of the election night meltdown on the left, and that's not Schadenfreude. When you engage in treacherous behavior and you see like the consequences, or you see other people realize the consequences of treacherous behavior. You can't cheat Bernie Sanders and set up and frame Trump and take every quote out of context. Joe, thank you. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Joe Booty, thank you. Something happened. I think that, I don't know, I think something happened. Because he was on his way to tanking his campaign with that. The blah, it's the big payback. It really is the big payback. James Brown, the big payback. Do not trust any Trump deranged person. And you know, the people who just don't like Trump, who don't take it that seriously, they're not plentiful. But you can generally trust them. Do not trust if you have, you know, a dentist that he knows can't stand Trump. Don't talk politics. You don't want him to, like, you know, pull your tooth out without Novocaine. You don't need that in your life. If you have a hairstylist, okay, don't talk politics. JG, I actually, you know what? I actually just got that DVD the other day just because I wanted to see the movie again. And, I mean, who doesn't love that comic book? JG. Exactly. We need Guardians of the Galaxy to just come and, like, save this country. I mean, I think Trump is like one of the he's like the new member or a new member of the X-Men, or maybe like Magneto's good brother. I don't know. JG, hello. But you know, how many people, JG, everybody here, how many people, because, you know, when you grow up with, and people older than me understand this, like nowadays, like if you gave me a Walkman with a cassette playing Walkman, and with like the old, like, you know, styrofoam like headphones, I wouldn't, like, it would sound perfect to me. It would sound like, actually, oh my God, the best sounds. I wouldn't need, like, you know, like Beats headphones or whatever. I wouldn't need like all like $200. Like, it would be like, oh, this is fantastic. But then when the AA batteries run, I'd be like, Billie Jean was not my love. And then, like, you'd be like, go back and, please, I just want one more verse to enjoy. But I mean, it's, yeah. I love everything old school. I love Anthony, hello. Bubala, the big payback. Mitchell Smith. Hello, H.A. Joe Scarborough, ranting that the polls are wrong and that it's very close. And then Joe Biden, no. Exactly. No, Mitchell, tell everyone you know. Oh, gosh, I shouldn't have been confident with the people I do know. I should have been like, it doesn't look like Trump's going to win. There's just so much energy and enthusiasm for that graveyard exhumed body that just evokes, when he said, his my erect leg hairs, it was just like tear down this wall. It was just like, ich bin Berliner, with whatever, if Kennedy said, it was just like that. It was just, oh my God. It was just, oh my God, God, he's so inspiring, Biden. Makes me want to, I don't know what, probably do nothing, but gosh, and I'm just afraid that Trump and his rhetoric and his oranges, he's just so, it's always about him. One great line I've heard, this is a fantastic line, it's always about him. Yeah, because they're always investigating for nonsense. It is always about him. Every Democrats live their life. I don't care, like, if Clinton doesn't, we go 8 years, it's fine. It's 2 straight elections. So I'm going to roll with that for you. Then you know how annoying I am. I'm going to bring that up every single day. 2 straight elections. This is true. No one can take that away. Have I been right about everything? No. But, oh my God, I forgot what I was even saying. I'm looking at like 3 things at once. I pulled a Biden. But like, they've convinced themselves that Biden's up by 16, so they don't have to. And they're disinfecting ballots, by the way, in California. It's hilarious. But then they don't have to vote. And, like, now they're like, oh my God, you probably should vote. Trump should be like, here's a message to Democrats. Like every Trump supporter with a platform on social media should be like, Trump supporters, make sure you just live your life completely doing what you want to do. And to Democrats, that means, oh my God, typhoid Mary. Microbes. It's microbes. And make sure you get there early and, just be there. And the last thing that Democrats want is to hang out with Trump supporters who could give them the plague. Democrats, don't risk your health. You don't need to do that. Whatever happens. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen a more overt attempt So this is hilarious. Giuliani linked to accused Russian agent while digging for dirt on Caligula. So look at the beauty of that. Look at the beauty of that that headline. It's not certain that a person is a Russian agent. Giuliani could have married this man, and it wouldn't have anything to do with the accuracy of a computer that was left at the computer repair store. But Giuliani linked to a Russian agent while digging for dirt. He was digging for dirt, okay, right outside the computer repair store where Caligula left his litany of depraved correspondence and photos. He was digging. It was like you had the city fixing a street lamp, or he was digging. He was with the jackhammer while he was digging, and he was with the accused Russian agent, and they were outside of the computer store. This means you shouldn't look at actually the photos that actually show, and that the correspondence that actually show that he was selling access to the vice presidency. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Be here at 9 p.m. tonight. Mitchell Smith, thank you. Bubba, everybody here, thank you. Be here at 9 p.m. tonight. Rob, everyone here. Hi-Fi Trucker, everyone here. Michael, JD Car Guy, Scott, thank you, everybody. California Veteran, everybody here, thank you. I'll see you at 9 p.m. tonight, everybody. If you haven't voted, vote early in person. And on November 3rd, tell everyone you know who is a Trump supporter to vote. They can't take it away from us, but the only way they could take it away from us is being complacent. Thanks, everybody. God bless. I'll see you tonight at 9 p.m. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, everyone.